Hi, thanks for being here with me today. So this is sock number 2, and today I'm working on the heel flap, the heel turn, and the gusset stitches in this video. If you watched the first sock or heard me talk about it, you'll know I struggled a little bit there. And while the leg is easy knitting, there is definitely some drama in this video that goes along with these parts of the sock. These were not calm knitting days. I do want to be upfront about some of the audio in here. I didn't think ahead of time, and I just recorded myself as I was knitting, and then I decided I wanted to leave that raw audio footage in, especially for beginners, so that you could hear me struggle as I go along and hear me talk about where I'm having a problem or a mistake that maybe I didn't see. So it might be helpful for anyone that is trying to figure out if this is normal, or it's also helpful if you're advanced and want to give me some advice in some of these areas that I definitely struggle in the video. There are chapters if you want to skip around, or you can knit along and just have this on in the background. But I appreciate you being here. I'm still figuring this out, and I hope you enjoy this knit along. So have a great day. Thank you. Okay, so we've knit across the front. What I was afraid of was that this was going to be too tight, so I had longer stitches. What I was going to try was seeing if this worked. Supposedly, you can put this end here. Like so. And then slide your stitch. Yeah. I appreciate the idea, but I'm a tight knitter, so I'm afraid I'd pull that off, because then the goal would be you stick it on this end and slide them down. But for me, I'm such a tight knitter that you can see that's just not easily gonna go over there. So no, not for me. As a beginner, I often have to stop and listen because I'm learning one step at a time. So you'll see me start a stitch, and then I'll stop and I'll listen to what they have to say, and then I'll start a stitch again. And now I need to figure out what I'm actually supposed to knit. So hold on, watch the video again. That's what a beginner does.
All right, so we're gonna knit 2 just to get that contrast color in there. Now this is the first row of our heel flap.
This one, I have a second one to get it on there. Okay, so we're gonna knit 2 stitches.
Whenever we slip, the yarn is in back.
I'm gonna slip one, then knit one. So one thing as a beginner that I found really helpful was lifelines. I spent so much time in fear on my first sock of making a mistake. And once I found out about lifelines, I added about 50 of them. And that's probably the reason I was able to actually complete a sock. I did learn the hard way to go around stitch markers. That's one reason why I use removable stitch markers, but also why I go around them, because I did get a stitch marker stuck in the middle of one of my first swatches. So I always go around them, even if they're removable at this point. I used lifelines a lot in this second sock too, but in key places. So where I changed from one technique to another and I was still unsure. So definitely before this heel flap. I also had to learn how to knit the next row above a lifeline, and it was just really about being careful of not picking up that lifeline in your stitch. So the first part of the heel is just the heel flap, and that was mostly about repetition and going slowly so that I didn't make mistakes. There was a lot of nervous energy here, and I did this very, very tight. I'm not sure if I don't like this particular type of yarn because it's just harder to work with, or because I knit so tight on this that I made it harder to work with. So slowing down and repetition and making sure that I was in the right spots was what got me through. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 30, 1, 32. We have 32. So that's good. Lots of slip one, knit one. I'm counting to keep track of where I was at because I needed to know if I was on a slip or a knit if I looked away for a second. But it finally clicked for me, and I realized that whenever you knit, your working yarn is on that last stitch on your needle. So you'll see me look at that here. And if I had slipped, then it would have been behind that first stitch. It's going to keep doing that. Purl, then slip knit, then purl, then slip knit until I get to 2.125 inches. Okay, so here we can see I've got my lifeline different color, but the intent is if I mess this part up, I can go back. So, lifelines. So, it's supposed to, as you can see here, I have my pattern with lots of notes. So, I'm looking at that. It's 16, so count. 1, 2, now I have to slip, slip, and then I have to knit. I hate this part. Okay, flip. I don't see how this works. Knit. Okay, and then I look at my pattern again and I knit 1. Knit 1 and turn. And this is going to be number 2. Okay, number 2. And then I purl 5, so 1, 5, purl 2 together, and then purl 1. So maybe if I go in here and stretch these out a little bit first. Okay, now checking to make sure that okay, purl 2. Come on, come through. Oh, it didn't work. That's because it got caught over. Fix that. Now I gotta pull this down. Pull that back over. Yeah. No. Don't do it. Okay. So now I don't know where I am. This needs to be back in front. Shoot. I was supposed to have 2 together. That's only 1. So I would have done, so slip 1, and then purl 5 would give me 6 before the purl 2 together. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I need 2 of these. Did I drop a stitch? Let's see. I don't think I dropped a stitch. So I need to purl these 2 together. So come on, pull nice and part there. Now let me go through that nicely. Get down there. Okay. Except for, was that a purl? I think so. Now come on through here. I don't think that's working again. That's knit-wise. I need to purl 2 together. Thank goodness it didn't work. This is the way you're supposed to do it. There we go. Phew, that was almost a catastrophe. There we go. Okay. Then I did the 2 together and then I purl one and turn. See, I almost did that wrong. Purl one, and then do this, click to 3, so I remember being on this side, and turn. Okay, and I knit 6, so 6, and I SSK, so I'm going to try to stretch this one out, because so slip knitwise, slip knitwise, and then knit 2 together. Ah, I got it. Come up there, you little bugger. 4, flip it, and turn. We're gonna do 5. And the reason I'm doing it this way is, let me just show you. You see this? This was me trying to figure out what happened in the beginning. And then this is me trying to figure out what happened later. And I had to write out what was going to happen on every stitch and what was going to be left and what was done. And that's the knit side. And then I had to do the wrong side. I had to do all of that because I got so lost as to where I was and I couldn't figure it out. So that's why this time I'm using the clicker, because then I can remember odd is knit side, even is purl side. So I'm going to keep going on that and I'll come back. Okay, so what I'm showing here is at about row 8, we have this little bit here, but if you push in on it and turn it around, it's starting to look like a little heel right there. We're going to keep going and see what happens. Okay, now we're going to start gusset stitches. So you can see we've created a nice heel. It took 14 rows. Track that with my sheet. Now I don't need this other side, but I am going to use a crochet hook, which is 2.25 millimeters, which is the same size as my needle. We've cut the end of this, and now we're going to be bringing back in our other thread. So I'm going to go through this first one, and I'm going to scoot this down just a little bit and put this on here. Pull that. Pull that through and put it on there. I can pull on that, pull it through, put it up on, and pull it through, keep it tight. This is 1, 2, 3, 4. I think I need 17. Plus I'm going to pick up an extra. Someone gave me a tip about picking up the extra stitch at the bottom to help cover up holes. So I'm trying that here. If I pick up this leg of this one, and this leg of this one, pull it through, it tightens up that hole. Okay, so now I'm done with that side. Now I'm going to knit across here. I'm picking up that extra stitch on this other side as well. This should be the downhill slope from here. It's not starting off as easy as I expected. Tightening everything up so there's no holes. One, two more. And then this one last. Right. I only want to go through 2 legs. I guess that's it. Okay. Okay, so now I'm going to knit off of this back onto my 9-inch. I didn't put a stitch marker down here either, and look at that big old gaping hole. See that big old hole there? I hope I can close that up later. So I just knitted up the whole side with my tail, which means I have to go back and unknit all of that, pulling each one of these out. Which, the good news is that means I can go fix this hole. Always check your working yarn. The gusset is finished and my foot knitting is underway and toe decreases are coming next. I'm still learning and open to tips, so if you've noticed anything or would have done it differently, I genuinely love to hear. Thanks for spending time with me.